Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all-new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, May 19, 2026. Is it hot by you guys, or is it just my ear? Because oh my gosh, it is just too much with the heat. We're in the 80s and 90s over here, and I feel like summer already reached. But anyways, let's get into what's going on Salem today. So anyways, Lexi and Kayla catching up as a doctor-patient thing, and also as longtime friends, colleagues. So Kayla was catching her up on what was going on 15 years ago since she was gone. So Alexi missed out on a whole lot, to the point where she didn't even know that Kayla had a stepson, and that she and Steve were going to attend his and Wendy's wedding. Now she also talked about how Abe has moved on, and she's kind of weary about this Paulina person because of what she read on the article that Leah wrote, that she tried to take over Salem and name it Price Town, and used Abe in a sense to get his mayorship. And Kayla said that was a long time ago, and she apologized. She didn't make it go through, but still, Lexi wondered why Abe could marry such a woman. But then again, she also had a self-reflection and thought about how she hurt Abe in the past. But she still wanted to meet Paulina at the end of the day. Now, she knows that Abe has a very difficult decision to make, but he needs to make it now. The time is of the essence. Now, Abe came to see EJ, and EJ was like, oh boy, Abe, I don't think I really want to hear this right now. But Abe said, yeah, I need to come and say my piece. First of all, I'm grateful for you bringing back Lexi. I know you have your own selfish motives. Maybe it's for money, power, fame. But despite that, I know you love your sister, you care about her, and I am just eternally grateful for that. Now, he wonders if it was just really to stab Paulina in the back because of, their relationship. But he said, maybe. But then again, you did say Lexi is your, love of your life and all that. So you have a big decision to make. I mean, it should be easy. But, Abe is saying, unlike you, I do care about the people in my life. And once, I'm in love with them, it's not an easy decision. But EJ was just saying to him, you got to make that decision, because I know Paulina, she's not a patient woman. Neither is my sister. So anyways, he does go to the hospital. EJ goes to the hospital, and he runs into Kayla because Kayla texted him about something urgent. So he's like, is something wrong with my sister? So Kayla said, actually, related into that, the board has really looked into this whole new development with Lexi, and they are deciding to file a lawsuit with whatever medical faculties about your research. So he just defended himself, saying that it is legit. It was done in his private lab. So at the end of the day, he didn't do anything nefarious, illegal. But Kayla saying the board doesn't think so, and they're looking into this whole thing, and they are a bone to pick with you. So EJ said, look, I have the board as a figurehead. At the end of the day, I can fire them all. I am in charge of this hospital. This is my property. But Kayla said, until then, you have to go pick it up with them. Now, Gabby and Theo are catching up on everything since he found out that his mom is back with him for good. And it's a lot to wrap his feelings around, because he's glad that his mom is back in his life. But it's opened up a can of worms, especially for his father. And, he's going to deal with difficult decisions to come. So he and Gabby talk about also the mayor fortune, and her claim to the inheritance. And she's saying that, well, your uncles and aunt don't really believe me, but I stand by that. And Theo also said, if you need anything, I'm here to back you up with it. So she appreciates that. She also told him that his uncle Tony wanted to give her back the mayor CEO position, but she turned it down because of just being backstabbed by him in the past. So he's saying that, I can't believe you turned it down. But she said, she just, learned her lesson, and she doesn't want to go through with it. But he understands, and he said that you would be perfect for the position. You're brilliant, you're smart, you're ambitious, all of the good compliments he was giving her, and she appreciates that from him. Now, Philip was in the background, and of course, as he comes in, because they were talking something about business, but it was just awkward. So Philip again make it more awkward by asking him, "Hey, I heard from Gabby that your mom is alive. Like, how is she doing?" So, Theo is just nervously saying she's okay, she's doing well. So Philip is happy to hear that, but he just leaves because he tells Gabby, "Hey, we'll catch up at some point on business again." And it is just so awkward between the two of them. Now, her and Philip talk a little bit, and, he was asking how did he make it awkward, but she said, there's a lot going on with him and his mom and everything. It's not really personally you, but, he has a lot going on. Now, he said, did you guys talk about the inheritance? And she said, yes, and he's in my corner, and, just want to see it through. And Philip hopes the same, because she does deserve to just take what's rightfully hers and use it to live her best life. Now earlier Philip went to the pub to talk to Joy because his sister, her sister Chloe, was just checking in on her if she's doing all right in Salem. So she said, really, no? Or did my mom put her up to? Because my mom wants to know if I'm cashing in on this child support thing from Alex, since, I have a curious baby. But I assure you, I don't have no interest in that, but to just, allow Alex to be a part of his daughter's life and to just be a good mom to her. Now, Philip gets that, and he understands, and he also told her that, I heard you're living at the pub upstairs, and I'm sorry I couldn't give you back the job position because Titan is going through it financially. So she heard about that. She kept up to date with everything since her baby is a part of the family. So anyways, he said when they're on the up and up again, he definitely have a position for her, but she doesn't want it. She doesn't really know what she really wants to do otherwise, other than being a great mom to her daughter. Now he wishes her the best on that. He also says that with the child support thing, it's going to be dicey because maybe Alex and Stephanie are living off of the earnings from her book. So she said, look, that's not my intention at all. I'm gonna do fine with or without Alex. Now he asked about Stephanie briefly, and she said, I knew this was something else. So he said, Stephanie's a good friend to me, and I just want to know how she's doing, and all of that, right? So he cares about all three of them and the baby as well. So he just wants to know that they're all good. Now, this was an unlikely pairing to see Theo and Joy. So Theo recognized her not just as her character Reagan, but her Joy Wesley, because he recognized her from working for his father. So she recognized him as Theo, Abe's son. So they catch up a little bit, and he realized that she also has a baby, and she tells him her name, and they talk briefly. So at some point the baby was fussing, and Theo just paused for a bit. I guess he's affected by the noise, and then he took up her stuffed animal that Alex brought for her and gave it to her, and that instantly calmed her down. Now, Joy was, thankful for that, and she said, she didn't even know that she misplaced it. So, anyways, Theo was saying that, sometimes when you lose things, it does get frustrating. So they were just bonding. But what is Days trying to do? Put them together, because this would be an interesting couple. What do you guys think? Now, Stephanie comes home. She didn't see Alex at all, and she gets cagey and puts her gun on the top of the table. Alex comes in shortly after, and she didn't know that he would be out. So he said that he was at the park just discussing custody with Joy and the baby. So she said, how did that go? So I said, we didn't really establish it. We want to wait a little bit more and also get your advice on this. So she said, I didn't know mine counts. I said, you're my wife. Of course, your input counts. So she said, how is this going to go? What's the first step? So I said, first step is officially adding my name to her birth certificate, making her Kyriakis. Now, those steps we just work on as we go, and we want to make sure to set up a date for you to meet Kelsey as well. So they talk about the wedding and attending trips to wedding in China, and Stephanie was suggesting that Alex stays behind to just really get caught up with his daughter, because he's missed out so much. He doesn't really want to miss out no more. So he said, you're going to be all alone. Who's going to support you? So she said, I have my whole family, like, don't worry about me. And you have to be there for your daughter. This is a crucial time for her, and I think that you need to do this first meeting alone, because it can be awkward. I read up on a lot about how certain things affect children, and he's surprised that she did that. She said she's just trying to do right by Alex, and he knows that she's trying, and he appreciates her, and he's also trying to make the situation a lot more bearable or comfortable for her. So they bond, and you know, they have the pizza and the movie night, and you know, it turns into a slow dance. And he talks about how he's gonna miss dancing with her over China there, and you know, he lets it happen right there. They dance to a slow music, and yeah, they get back on the right track. So let's see how this works out, because if she is saying to him, hey, stay back and, you know, bond with the baby, and what if that brings Alex and Joy closer? Now, Lexi and Abe talk, and Abe is just checking in on her and the lab test, and Kayla said, it's time for you to actually, you know, talk to her, have a heart to heart, because she's sturdy enough to hear what she needs to hear. And yeah, she asks Abe point blank, let me meet Paulina. We can't beat around the bush, and you're careful with your decision making, but we have to get to the bottom of this. I need to meet Paulina. So he agrees, and he said that this will happen. But let's see how this goes between Lexi and Paulina, this showdown. I'm here for it. But that's it, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys tomorrow.